Animals have been tortured by human curiosity for a very long time. But to what extent do we kill and torture animals until we say this needs to stop? When do we say that this animal doesn't deserve to be killed or die this way just to answer a question? Well, I think I have the answer. The year is 1962, but there is a problem. You see, during mating season, elephants experience something called must. Now, when an elephant goes through must, it becomes very dangerous, very aggressive, very hard to control, and just very unpredictable overall. So for an elephant held in a zoo in captivity, how can you safely take care of it and feed it? And how can hundreds, if not thousands of people look at the elephant today and still be safe while it's going through must? Well, this was the problem we wanted to solve. And in order to do that, Tusko, a 14-year-old Indian elephant, was brought into the Lincoln Park Zoo at Oklahoma City. Researchers wanted to recreate must in an elephant, but how do you do that? How do you create must-like state in an elephant if it's not mating season? Well, the answer, we thought, was to give it a bunch of LSD. Now, in humans, LSD, or lysergic diethylamide acid, inhibits serotonin levels, and on top of that, the LSD you consume binds to 5-HT2A brain receptors. So, what does this do? Well, serotonin is an important neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and emotions. So if serotonin levels are thrown off because of the LSD you take, that can make somebody very unpredictable and dangerous, and because they might not be able to control their mood, LSD can be a dangerous drug. But on top of that, the LSD that you consume binds to the brain receptors where serotonin is supposed to go. And this is what creates the hallucinations you see when you would take LSD. So, if LSD inhibits your ability to regulate your mood, why not give it to an elephant to simulate must, and therefore learn more about must and learn how to stop it? Well, this could work, but here's the roadblock. An average Indian elephant like Tusko weighs about 8,800 pounds on average. So how much LSD do you give such a big animal? Well, in humans, about 100 to 200 micrograms of LSD is enough to trigger a hallucination. And if you do the math, this is about 3 micrograms of LSD per kilogram of body weight. But why is LSD so potent? Well, we talked about earlier how LSD binds with 5-HT2A brain receptors. And when it binds with these brain receptors, it binds much more tightly than something like serotonin would. Therefore, a very small dose can have a very big effect on you, and on top of that, the effect can last for a very long time. So, what is a lethal amount of LSD? Well, it's found that about 0.2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight is about the lethal amount. Now, there have been people that have survived a 50 milligram dose or a 50,000 microgram dose of LSD. And usually, although these people survive, they usually aren't okay, and they usually have permanent brain damage afterwards. So, what dose of LSD is Tusko going to be given? Well, the lethal dose of LSD is about 0.2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, and Tusko is going to be given 0.09 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. But how much is this going to translate to? Well, Tusko weighs about 7,000 pounds, so if you do the math, that is 297 milligrams of LSD, or 297,000 micrograms. Just to give you a reference, CNN reported a case about a woman who mistook her LSD for cocaine, and she took 55 milligrams of the LSD. And although she did survive, she had frequent vomiting and blackouts for the next 24 hours. And once she did pull through, it became one of the highest doses of LSD ever taken for somebody to survive. And now Tusko is going to be given more than 5 times this amount. August 3rd, 1962, Dr. Louis Jolyon West prepares a vial of 297 milligrams of LSD. And using a dart gun, he shoots Tusko's butt with the LSD, making it the largest dose of LSD ever given to a living thing ever. Immediately after the shot, nothing too concerning happens, but about 5 minutes later, Tusko collapses on his side and starts convulsing violently. His eyes roll into the back of his head, his breathing becomes heavier and faster and more labored, and his tongue starts to swell a lot. Now, immediately, the researchers don't know what to do for an elephant that's overdosing on LSD, so they decide to wait it out and see if Tusko will calm down by himself. But after 20 minutes of pure agony, he doesn't. And so the researchers run up to him immediately and inject him with 2,800 milligrams of Thorazine. Now, Thorazine is an antipsychotic drug used to treat patients with psychosis, so this should calm down Tusko. And on top of this, 100 milligrams of Reserpine is also given to him. Now, keep in mind, both of these drugs are tranquilizers, and well, treating an elephant overdosing on LSD by giving it tranquilizers probably isn't going to work. In fact, it's probably going to make his condition worse because tranquilizers calm down the nervous system. And if the nervous system gets calmed down, breathing is going to be a lot harder, and Tusko is already struggling to breathe as it is. So the tranquilizers might not even make it better. In fact, it might make it worse. Immediately after the injections, Tusko is not improving. He's still convulsing. His eyes are still in the back of his head, and he still can't breathe. And as the time goes by, as the researchers are just watching because they have nothing to do, Tusko's breathing slows until his heart comes to a stop. After 1 hour and 40 minutes of pure agony, Tusko is dead. Wow, that was horrible. After the experiment, an autopsy was performed on Tusko, and as you can imagine, the researchers concluded that way too much LSD was given to him, and the tranquilizers made his condition worse, not better. And on top of that, as you can imagine, this experiment received a ton of backlash. And the reason being was because nothing was learned. We wanted to learn how to get must to stop in an elephant, and this experiment did not contribute to that answer at all. So why did this experiment even get done? Well, honestly, I don't know. I don't know why this experiment was done, and it's pretty horrible. And I think there is some stuff we've learned from it, but also maybe killing animals by giving them 500 or 300 milligrams of LSD isn't right. So maybe if you want to give an animal a massive dose of LSD, maybe think again. Anyway, this is Mind Matter. Thank you for watching.